Hello everyone, I all hope you're in a very wonderful, great day indeed, guys, and a very much of a blessed and wonderful weekend as well. I too, as well, also enjoyed my weekend as well as you did, guys, as well, and I all hope you're staying very happy and also very quietly good. Guys, I'm very superly grateful for your support in watching and in viewing my episodes. It gratefully, completely means a lot to me, as in literally means a lot to me. So despite that, guys, I'm superly grateful for your support in watching and in viewing my episodes from shorts and also from long videos as well. Please like and subscribe and have a great, wonderful, blessed day and a very great day indeed. Guys, it is literally superly hot than it was than last week, and it's still completely very hot than ever it is before. So I hope you guys are drinking a lot of water and drinking a lot of cold water and everything else, and I hope you're very happy. Okay, guys, despite that, on today's episode, we're to speak about a superhero known as Airchild, who is a member of the Universal Heroes, who believes in their goals in restoring sacred peace and harmony and balance to the sacred world and to the rest of humanity and to the rest of the known universe and to the rest of the known worlds and to the rest of planet Earth and to the rest of the known worlds and to the universe and to the known universe and to the rest of the other sacred universes as well. Despite this, Airchild is a very high-ranking member of the Universal Heroes, and she believes in their goals, and she's willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that the sacred peace and balance and harmony is restored back to the sacred world and to the rest of mankind and to the rest of humanity and to the supernaturals and to the communities of the sacred world, such as the superhumans, aliens, supernaturals, formation hunters, and all of the other creatures who live in this hidden secretive universal, who live in this hidden world known as the sacred world, and as well within the hidden universe known as the sacred universe as well. So let's get to it. In Earthchild's early life, she was exactly much of a prodigal daughter, very much of a prodigal daughter among her people and the rest of her kind, where she was studying so much and very much quietly studying so much and very much quietly studying so much and very much solely devoted to her studies and to her determination. She was learning more about the ancient and powerful mythical dark witches known as the Dark Sisters, whose origin and story began to inspire her as well over many life. Despite this, she pursued in order to understand the Dark Witch's power, the Dark Sisters' power, and also about their dark abilities and their greatest abilities and power, and how they're able to live in full secrecy and maintain how they're able to live in full secrecy and manipulating events behind the shadows of the sacred worlds, behind the shadows of the sacred worlds, conflicts, wars, and in conflicts, wars, and interest in events and all of that has been taking place for several centuries and for many centuries, especially during in ancient times as well. Over the course of her life, Erchal began to learn of a powerful dangerous dark empire known as the Shadow Empire that's been headed on a mission, that's been headed on a destructive mission to conquer, rule, enslave, and destroy and lay waste to known worlds, planets, civilization throughout the rest of sacred history, which has been known throughout the rest of the sacred worlds, creatures, beings, and magical races that live there as well. Airchild became so determined in order to understand the Shadow Empire's reason behind its conquest and goals, and she became to believe that its only sole reason and conquest and goals were ever formed and made the way they are today is because of the original founders of the Shadow Empire, such as Shadow himself and the original Lord of Magic and the original founders and leaders and monarchs of the Shadow Empire who previously led it and ruled it and guided with great leadership and with great authority during the ancient times and during the ancient times and the many centuries before the original Lord of Magic sat at the throne as well. Over the course of her life, Erchild began traveling the rest of the sacred worlds and known worlds and planets and helping the refugees and the members of the Galactic Coalition and members of the Four Nation Hunters battled the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders and the monsters of the Dark Dimension, which she previously exactly able to do. She used her forbidden powers of controlling and manipulating air in order to fight against the monsters of the Dark Dimension, which she gladly exactly able to do, and she vanquished them. The aliens and the rest of the alien civilization and inhabitants of the other worlds and planets gratefully exactly respected her for her great heroism and her great heroism and everything else, and told her that in a future time that they might need, then they will exactly join forces with her if she joins a powerful group of formidable superheroes or any types of group. They would gladly become the allies. And Airchild was very quietly glad that the aliens decided to join forces against and decided to join the fight against the forces of evil that were quietly wreaking havoc and chaos upon the rest of the sacred world, and the rest of the known universe's worlds in a process to further their own plans and their ultimate goals as well. During that time of her course of her life, Urchild began entering the sacred ancient text library books, where she was able to discover more and more secrets about the original Lord Magic and about the powerful witch who stood by his side, known as Ember, the goddess of power, or known by other words, the witch of power. And she even came across the Dark Sisters, who are the most formidable dark witches, and who've been using different many aliases and many names over throughout sacred history and over the following centuries as well, by changing their true names and their appearances as well. Despite this, Airchild became very much intrigued that the Dark Sisters are very powerful ancient mythical witches, and who are also the primordial and primary ancient dark witches that lived for many millennia and for many centuries as well. Despite this, Airchild exactly vowed to herself that she'll stop the force of evil and any threat that dares to destroy the sacred peace and harmony and balance of the greatest forefathers and the origins and the Four Nation Hunters who stood by and fought for many centuries and for many years. And despite this, she was so heavily determined in order to stopping the war and the sacred galactic conflict that was quietly brewing and quietly still raging on and going on for the past few centuries, and also during the ancient times as well. On the 15th of February, when the power vacuum of the Shadow Empire began, started during to the disappearance of the Universal Heroes, who quietly were battling a very ancient and who quietly were battling another ancient sinister threat from another world and from another universes. The Shadow Empire warlords and commandos all formed their own factions, and everything else with their battle cruisers and warships in order for them to take the Shadow Empire throne, for them to start fighting for them to start taking control of the Shadow Empire throne, while the other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders secretly formed alliances with ancient groups of supervillains in order to aid them on their respective conquests and goals and missions as well. During on that time, Airchild discovered that the Universal Heroes, with them being gone, she gladly had to take charge and responsibility for the Intergalactic Coalition Scouts operation and everything else, and she gladly decided to take measures into her own hands as well. On the 29th of February, Airchild and a group of alien resistance fought up against an army and a fleet of the entire battle cruiser of the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders, which they easily were able to defeat and dispose of, and they were able to capture and apprehend several key enemies, including the Shadow Empire warlord and commanders as well during the process, which the Shadow Empire warlord exactly told the resistance fighters that the new Lord of Magic has gladly returned with his new ancient secret society, and is now reforming his new Shadow Empire from behind the scenes. Despite this, Airchild was not very successfully pleased with this development at all, and she decided it's best for her and the rest of the resistance to continue their liberation before this new mysterious force of evil successfully rises and ascends as well, and successfully rises and ascends in power as well. On the 15th of March, the resistance that Earthchild was gratefully leading to the other worlds and planets gratefully started battling against a group of powerful, formidable dark witches who are on a very rampaging conquest to conquer the magical worlds and kingdoms of the sacred magical dimension, which the battle waged on for days and for days and for days until the 25th of March, where the witches were forced to flee from the battle themselves, and the heroes and the resistance fighters remain victorious in liberating those magical kingdoms, worlds, and planets and civilizations from the forces of evil. The other magical warlocks and wizards agreed that they will join forces with the resistance fighters in order to help in the Intergalactic Coalition's mission and goal in order to liberating more worlds and more planets that are under the sole control of the Shadow Empire and from the sole control of the other forces of evil, as long as they can easily help each other and assist each other on a common interest and goal to restoring peace, balance, and harmony, and coexistence between the supernaturals, aliens, and superhumans as well in the process. And Earthchild completely agreed to the terms, then that's exactly what they wanted to do as well. On the 20th of April, Earthchild managed to meet up with the members of the Intergalactic Coalition on their central headquarters, where they completely praised her for great work and a great devotion to the cause, stated that her resistance fighters are gladly doing much of a very greater job and a very greater mission than ever before, which is able to grant the Intergalactic Coalition with more resources and more helpful hand in order to fighting up against the force of evil. Earthchild even exactly told the members of the Four Nation Hunters of the Intergalactic Coalition that she's willing to give out her resources and every type of anything else in order for them to finally set literally liberating thousands of known worlds and planets and civilization from the Shadow Empire's control and grip, and from the other forces of evil who are completely rising in power and ascending in power as well. The Four Nation Hunter elders of the Intergalactic Coalition completely agreed with Earthchild that it's best if they exactly join forces with her resistance fighting group in order for them to fight up against the common enemy and up against the common interest as well, in order to restoring sacred peace and balance and harmony to the sacred world and to the sacred universe and to the known worlds and to the other sacred dimensions and magical dimensions and other known pocket dimensions and worlds and civilization from the sacred universes as well, which they all gladly agreed to that. On the 29th of May, the Four Nation Hunters of the Intergalactic Coalition and Earthchild's resistance continue to battle up against an army of Shadow Empire warlords who are completely laying waste to an entire sacred village, and they decided in order to stop the attack and the assault from the other sacred villages and fought up against the enemy, which the resistance fighters and the members of the Intergalactic Coalition and Earthchild remain victorious throughout the battle and managed to capture several key enemies, and ultimately they were sentenced directly into the Astral Prison they were ultimately sentenced into the Astral Prison, a prison designed to house super criminals and super villains and powerful evil warlocks or druids or warlords or powerful evil Four Nation Hunters or any super criminal or any deadly threat of the sacred world and of the human world, and any threats of the sacred world that come from the human world will also be sentenced to the Astral Prison, as well as the Sacred Prison, as well as the Dark Ark Prison as well, which those prisons are designed to house powerful and very, very dangerous and deadly forces of evil who are some unknown and some who are unknown to the rest of sacred history and to the rest of humankind and to the rest of the sacred world as well. Despite this, the forces of evil were gladly apprehended, and the Intergalactic Coalition of the Four Nation Hunters gladly shook gladly shook the hand with Airchild, stated to her that she's done a very amazing job, that her mission can finally begin taking place as well. And they'll do everything else in their power to liberating more worlds and more planets as everything else. Airchild exactly told the Foundation Hunter elders of the Intergalactic Coalition that she continue pursuing her mission and as well as her goals, no matter what, and despite the stakes, that she continue to fight against the other forces of evil, despite the less resources of the Intergalactic Coalition that have been stretched too thin. Her and the resistance fighters have got the situation perfectly under control. The Foundation Hunter Elder literally shook hands with Airchild and exactly told her that she's doing very much of a brave job indeed, and a very much of a well done job, and that they should keep the fight going on no matter what as well, as they all successfully agreed to each other on that. On the 29th, on the 20th of June, Airchild completely returned to her central headquarters of a basis of operation, where she was able to create a holographic hologram, and where she was able to meet up with the other resistance elders, with the other resistance elders in a holographic hologram, where they were able to speak about their plans and about their goals in liberating the entire sacred world and the rest of the known universe from the control and grip of the force of evil, when they all successfully agreed that working with the Intergalactic Coalition is a best bet in liberating thousands of worlds and planets and civilization that are under the sole control of the Shadow Empire and from the rest of the forces of evil. And Airchild agreed to the elders and leaders that it's more important in order for them to spread hope and positivity to the sacred world and to the supernatural community and alien community and the superhuman community and the Foundation Hunters community as well, to make sure that those worlds coexist together and live together as well, despite the rift and the chaos that was created many years ago due to them trying to be extinct and to be wiped out and annihilated by the original Lord of Magic, who his followers and his protege are now continuing his legacy and goal. And now that the rift has been quietly created many centuries ago, Airchild is quietly so determined in order to make sure that the rift between the other worlds of the supernatural and aliens and superhumans and the Foundation Hunters can still able to coexist among each other as well. The great elders of the resistance completely agree with that, and they decided it's best for them to do just about that as well. On the 29th of July, Airchild completely met up with the Foundation Hunter Elder of the Intergalactic Coalition and completely introduced her to Universal Man, stated to Universal Man that this is Airchild, who's a resistance fighter and a leader of her group of resistance who've been liberating thousands of worlds and planets and civilization from the control of the Shadow Empire, which they've been fighting for decades and for years now, and for many years. Universal Man, known as Grayson Ferris Unity, who is the son of the previous Universal Man and woman as well, and who is known by another name as the Prophesized Child, who was foretold in order to put an end to the original Lord of Magic, was very quietly impressed of Airchild's determination and heroic actions and stated to her that she's completely welcome to the Universal Heroes and that she can provide them with her resources and anything else and in any skills. In return, the Universal Heroes will also gladly provide her with the same resources as well. And Airchild completely shook hands with Universal Man and stated to him that's exactly what she's willing to do, and she's very grateful to be a part of the Universal Heroes as well. On the 15th of August, Airchild was able to return to the central headquarters of the Universal Heroes asteroid base, where she completely met every member of all the Universal Heroes, including of the allies, such as the Universal Magic Heroes, the Universal Founders, the Universal Defending Heroes, the Universal Space Heroes, the Universal Water Heroes, and the Universal Fire Heroes, the Universal Earth Heroes, the World Heroes, the United Heroes, the Foundation Hunter allies known as the Alliance. They all completely introduced the new members of the team and completely welcomed Airchild with great welcoming and stated to her that she's officially part of the family and that they are all willing to utilize their resources and their goals and everything else in order to further their common interest to restoring sacred peace, balance, and harmony to the sacred world and to humanity and to planet Earth and to the known universe as well in the process. Despite this, Airchild completely felt welcomed and very gratefully welcomed to be part of the superhero families, despite them being in different types of families, of their lineage, and of their bloodline. They did not exactly care about that, but all they cared about is that they're all in together, that they are all working together to further their common goal and their interests, and they are stronger together as well. And Earthchild felt very completely that she found a place where she completely belonged as well. On the 23rd of September, Earthchild completely exactly furthered her studies and continued to furthering her studies and everything else of her entire course in order for her to complete her studies and everything else. And during the time, she began to learn that the most powerful dark witch known as Witchcaster is searching for an ancient power source known as a dark energy spell ultimate power, which has the ability and power to grant fast immortality and greater abilities than ever before. Which she told the Universal Magic Girl that Witchcaster has been searching for this dark energy spell ultimate power, which she believes will grant her more power and more invincibility than anything else ever before. Universal Magic Girl told her that all her resources and everything else has been stretched within in order for them to find the dark energy spell ultimate power, which they did exactly found it and managed to conceal some of its energy and power from another mysterious pocket dimension in order to prevent the forces of evil and the dangerous dark, powerful, mysterious magic users from misusing such forbidden dark power for their own evil purposes and for their own evil reasons as well. Despite this, Airchild exactly told Universal Magical that she needs to have a look at that source of power for herself as well. And they completely agreed that that's exactly what they wanted to do in order to show her as well. On the 15th of October, Universal Magic Girl and the Universal Magic Heroes arrived on the ancient temple that they once exactly restored back to its former glory, where they kept the dark energy spell ultimate power hidden and banished from a mysterious pocket dimension. In doing so, they all converged their power. Our creative formed a circle around Airchild, where they'll be able to soar, where they'll be able to exactly teleport her straightly to the mysterious pocket dimension and show her that the dark energy spell ultimate power is like a powerful dark energy purple orb of a violet color that's quietly concealed in a crystal balling orb where it's been confined into. And she was completely teleported to the mysterious pocket dimension, where she will see that the pocket dimension is not just an ordinary pocket dimension, that it's an altercation of the astral prison, being a pocket dimension that traps and also keeps powerful, dangerous, deadly threats from who are quietly unknown to the rest of sacred history to be trapped and to be banished there for eternity. Despite this, Airchild was very completely shocked that much power and energy and that much power, dark power and energy were being used for that greater evil, and that she told Universal Magical and the Universal Magic Heroes that they made the right decision and right call in order to banish it from this different alternate pocket dark dimension, which is quietly an unknown dark dimension has never been heard of or seen for throughout the rest of sacred history. Despite that, Universal Magical told Earthchild that with that much power, that there is more of it out there scattered across the known universe and across the known worlds, and that there are thousands of the dark energy spell ultimate power orbs that are still out there, and that the forces of evil are still searching for it, and that the others have decided to utilize its energy and power and capacity and tap into it rather than to absorb and extract and merge or infuse with it in order for them to become more powerful. They've learned in order to access its forbidden energy and power and tapping into its concentrated form of frequency and power than to rather to infuse with it themselves. Urchel was very completely shocked and very, very much out of her mind that the forces of evil have gained new knowledge and very great power and abilities that are far more very, very dangerous. Universal Magical told Urchild that the forces of evil are greatly, highly clever and very, very intelligent beings that have lived for centuries, and they very well mastered in the arts of deception and in the arts of manipulation. They cannot be underestimated as well. On the 20th of November, Airchild continued her studies and everything else to learning more about the dark energy spell ultimate power, and she was able to learn more about the source and everything else, about the source, where the source originated from, and where the dark energy spell ultimate power was successfully created. And she just said the only place for her to find that incredible knowledge is to go straightly to the sacred magical dimension and go straightly to magic school where lived warlocks, witches, fairies, and druids who all lived together in order to study their powers and their fullest potential about their ability. And she decided to go there in order to learn more about the dark energy spell ultimate power as well. On the 15th of December, Earthchild completely enrolled herself in magic school, where she completely learned more about the powerful forces of good and evil, of about the dark arts and about light magic and positive magic and negative magic being fueled by good emotions and bad emotions, which is other way being utilized by two different types of forces of good and evil as well. And she learned that the forces of evil can also transform themselves into becoming fairies or warlocks or witches, and the forces of good can also transform themselves and shapeshift themselves into becoming dark and powerful, mysterious dark magic users. Despite that, she learned at the course of history that the dark energy spell ultimate power is a negative source of pure energy that is highly different and altered from shadow energy and from light energy and from light magic, which is very, very powerful and very dangerous in its greatest and darkest and purest and greatest and darkest and untapped form, which can corrupt so easily and so powerful, which opens up a gateway for the dark entities of the other dark dimension from the other dark entities of the dark dimension to mysteriously enter the physical sacred universe through the other magical worlds and planets and civilization to live on the mortal universe, then to escape the dark dimension, which opens up a gateway for the monsters of the dark dimension to enter the mortal plane through the dark energy spell ultimate power or through portals that have been opened and unlocked by another powerful mysterious forces granted by them to enter to create havoc and chaos and to annihilate humankind and the Phoenician hunters in a process as well. As Earthchild was able to learn so much about the forces of good and evil and about the ancient histories and war about the monsters of the dark dimension, which are being summoned by an unknown mysterious force. She was so determined in order to help the universal heroes and their goals and their mission to make sure that it successfully bears fruit, no matter what. On the 19th of January, Earthchild completely met up with the resistance elders and members. Earthchild was able to secretly convene with the resistance elders and members of the resistance on one of the bases of their headquarters, and they were able to tell her the bad news that the forces of evil are completely successfully rising in power, and that the new Lord of Magic is successfully rising in power and ascending in power quickly and faster than he ever did, and he's becoming too powerful and too dangerous. Despite this, Earthchild told the members of the resistance elders and leaders that she has great knowledge and great wisdom in order and that she has found a solution and a way to stop these forces of evil. But to do that, she's going to need all the helping hand she can get from their resources as well. On the 10th of February, Earthchild completely told the members of the Universal Heroes within the other bases of operation that she needs for them to combine their resources with the resistance fighters and with the members of the Intergalactic Coalition for them to do something very, very, very catastrophic that might alter the sacred world's history for good or for the greater evil itself. And they all completely agreed. What would that exactly be? She told them that it's a catastrophic mission that could decide the fate of humanity and the fate of the sacred world and the rest of the sacred universes, which in other words, they have to act fast. Before this, Grayson Ferris Unity told her that it's best that she meets up with the most powerful cosmic beings who are the fates themselves as well. On the 15th of February, Grayson exactly introduced her to the fates, who are exactly powerful ancient orbs and who have exactly told her her role and her place in this sacred galactic role and her place in destiny and purpose in this entire universe and also in this entire hidden sacred universe that's on the brink of collapse and war. And she was very quietly conflicted and very quietly completely shocked. And that's exactly what her role was meant to do. And Earthchild exactly reassured the fates then that's exactly what she's going to do, utilizing her powers and her resources as well, no matter what. And they completely agreed that it's time for them to begin their mission once and for all. Despite this, guys, Earthchild is completely very, very, very much resourceful and very, very, very much caring, compassionate, fearlessly devoted, loving, and caring. Very, very skilled in ability of flight. She has great great wings in order to fly, and she has great ability of depth ability and ability of evolving, and ability of manipulating air powers and abilities as well, and ability of hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship, tactician, and strategist as well. Greater intelligences in using blades, daggers, and weapons and guns as well. Very resourceful and very devoted to her mission and to her cause and to her goal in restoring sacred peace, balance, and harmony to the sacred world and to the rest of humanity and to the rest of the cosmos as well. Despite this, she's very, very caring and very, very devoted to her mission and to her goal, and she believes in the universal hero's mission and goals to restoring peace, balance, and harmony to both the human world and the sacred world and the sacred universe and the known universe as well, by fighting one of the greatest and most powerful enemies and known ancient force of evil that has ever lived for many centuries and for many days. She's been studying the Dark Sisters for many years and for many centuries throughout her whole life in order to learn more about the ancient, dark, mysterious, powerful witches known as the Dark Sisters, and as well as the Shadow Witches and the Shadow Sisters, which she's been studying as well for many centuries. She believes that they are the reason for this mess and for this debacle, and she believes as well that there's another powerful force of evil at play that's also manipulating events and powerful events and wars from behind the scenes, and that works from the shadows of the sacred world in order to make sure that these events play out the way they intended to be. Despite this, Airchild is very loyal and committed to her goal and to her mission, and she believes in the resistance that she has formed, and she also forms alliances with the members of the Intergalactic Coalition to aid them on their respective goals and mission as well, to take down the common enemy and the common enemies and foes and mysterious adversaries of the sacred world and of the sacred universes as well. She's very intelligent, very loving. She views the universal heroes and the allies as brothers and sisters in arms, and she's willing to do whatever it takes to protect them and the members of the resistance fighters to fight up against the evil Shadow Empire warlords and commanders, and up against the most powerful, dreadfully powerful, mysterious enemies and villains, and worst of the worst super criminals and villains and deadliest threats that ever lived. Her greatest foe and enemy are the Dark Druids, the Dark Witches, and the Dark Faithful, and the monsters of the Dark Dimension, and the members of the Order of the Five, and the Shadow Empire warlords, and the new Lord of Magic, and also the ancient secret society groups that have existed for many centuries and for many, many years as well, in changing and altering sacred histories, events, and wars behind the scenes and behind the shadows. She views the Four Nation Hunters as well as brothers and sisters, and she's willing to aid them on their respective goals and mission. And despite her philosophy and her belief, she's willing to make sure that those goals and missions successfully bear fruit in protecting humanity and mankind from all threats and from evil forces and from all threats that exist and coexist from all worlds and planets and civilization, and from the hidden world and from the hidden universe known as the sacred world, and from the sacred universe as well, and from the known universe as well. She maintains her usual bases of operations, such as the central headquarters known as her library books and her sacred archives library books, and as a base of operations such as the volcanic islands where she can easily meet up and convene with the members of the resistance, and on the universal heroes on the central headquarters, the asteroid base, and as well as her other bases of operation, which is our ancient caves, which she uses ancient caves and powerful caves where she can speak with the members of the universal heroes and the rest of the resistance elders and leaders of the Intergalactic Coalition in full secrecy, where they can speak about their plans and also about their goals. Despite this, she's very optimistic and very, 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 very proud of her mission and her goal. And she's very, 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 very glad and very happy that she has found her true calling and her destiny, and that she believes that she's meant to be a hero. Her parents died during the great secretive wars and conflicts that were brought down many, many centuries ago, before the time in the age of darkness, and during the time where the original Lord of Magic was in power, and where chaos exactly erupted and began raining down, which created a rift between the supernaturals and the aliens and the superhumans and the Four Nation Hunters many, many, many centuries ago as well. Her parents died during the Great War. They were quietly They were quietly, her father was quietly a formation hunter, and her mother was quietly a supernatural creature with great supernatural abilities in manipulating air and in oxygen, in manipulating air power, and in any type of air power and energy at will. Despite that, she's a prodigy and she's a hybrid of the two species of her people, and she uses that in order to create a positive impact to the sacred world and to the sacred world's community and to the sacred universe's community as well in the process. She's very optimistic, fearless, devoted, well behaved, well raised, and she will do whatever it takes to use her powers and her abilities for the greater good. And she's a high ranking member of the Universal Heroes as well. Well, guys, that's it for today's episode. I will exactly see you tomorrow as well. So like and subscribe, and I'm very superly grateful for your support in watching and viewing my episode. Please continue to do so. Have a blessed, wonderful, great day, and enjoy yourself and take care of yourself. Bye.